What's going on, Jiu Jitsu community? It's your boy C Tech with another episode of the Grindin' Jiu Jitsu podcast. And today on episode 10, this is a special one in my heart because this gentleman, uh, back in the day when I was young and foolish, I decided that I wanted to become a metal star and I wanted to become the biggest metal singer in the history of metal. And I
Yes,
was
sir.
absolutely terrible. And I met this fella, and he is my first ever guitarist from my first band ever, which was
Yes.
called Echoes of Triumph. Well,
Yes.
first it was Vessels of Arcadia.
Yes. Yes.
Vessels of
Terrible name.
Arcadia, terrible
Terrible
name.
name.
But
Terrible
then
name.
we switched it up to Echoes of Triumph, right?
Yes. Yes. I believe
I believe so.
I believe so.
Or was that a different band? That might have been a different band. Anyway, I've been in a lot of
Yes.
bands,
Yes.
but I know for a
Yes.
fact it was definitely Vessels of Arcadia was the
Yes, it
very
was.
first
That
one.
yeah, 100%.
I couldn't even scream because I do heavy metal vocals. I couldn't scream, and this guy
No,
still
we were
gave
all
me a
starting out.
chance. We were all starting
We
out.
were all starting out. It was a lot of fun.
And back in the day, I started jujitsu, and I was telling this guy for years,
Yes.
years, years ago,
Yes.
yo, you need to try this. Nah, I'm good. I'm chilling. Like I do my own thing. And I'm like, okay, no doubt. Fast forward almost
Yes.
15 years, maybe 15 years later,
Give or
he
take for sure.
starts his Brazilian jiu-jitsu journey and just competed and got gold.
Yes.
Zay,
Gold and silver.
Mr. Zay Gomez, welcome to the show, bro.
Thank you, thank you. It is an honor.
Bro, so I I have to know because I mean we speak from time to time about music
Yes,
on the gram, but how
yes.
the fuck do you now start jujitsu? What happened?
Dude, it was kind of like one of those not a random thing, but after like COVID and everything, we're all fucking stuck, at home for a year, and then funny enough, dude, it was actually my wife who kind of like nudged me in that. She was like,
No
hey,
way.
yeah, she was, hey, kind of like, you should probably pick up a hobby, or like, something to get a little more physical activity, you know, check out a few schools. Whatever, I checked out a bunch in my area. I ended up going to a trial class at Renzo Journal Square, which was, it was a great time. But yeah, but like after that trial class, dude, I signed up right after the class. Because you just know. So yeah, I like did the trial class, rolled around for an hour, signed up, and then after that, I was just been back. Like not like just there, and it's great. Started at Renzo Gracie, but now I very very happily I am I've been training it for the last couple of months at Studio 1908, which is now my home gym, and it is phenomenal. It's like I have nothing bad to say, dude. It is
Now,
amazing. The
why does that
teacher.
sound so familiar? 1908. Is that?
Those those are the Meow brothers. Yes,
Ah, okay,
yes, yes,
porra.
yes,
So, FYI, the
yes.
Meow brothers also train with my former black belt,
Oh yeah,
Stingray from 10th Planet, New York City.
love that,
They
love
have a
that.
competition of high level belts in one room, and they just get their rounds in with high level talent. And he's a
That's
part of the
insane, dude.
quarantine team with the me. Oh, so you're with the meows, dude. I'm gonna say,
Yes,
yo, that's a great thing to hear, bro. I'm
yes. No,
so
it is. I
happy for
am.
you.
I dude. I am very happy. I'm very satisfied. I train with the Meows, but due to my schedule, I've started morning classes a lot, and it's predominantly morning. So I train with Byron,
Okay.
Professor Byron, bro, who is out of this world. You know, like dude, he's just knowledgeable and like honestly, like the reason that like my game is to anywhere where it's at, it's all Byron. You know, like I've had teachers and other stuff, but like Byron's been my like main guy for the last few months, and like having that like connection, you know, like with somebody who you're training with, but like you're also very like cool with as a person, because he's a great person. You know, it's different than kind of just like having that like teacher student relationship. There's a lot of comfort and like we know how to communicate.
No, that's super sick.
It's yeah, it's very good. So
So
Byron
so
Sierra,
so let me throw this out.
sure,
So
of course,
your
yeah,
wife tells you, "Hey, maybe you should find a hobby, something a little bit physical."
yes.
What made you choose jujitsu? Was it word of mouth? Was it just the closest martial arts school around you? Because you could have chose Taekwondo and been ki-eyeing all over the place.
100%. Honestly, so good question. That to me is kind of like what I was missing, because when I was younger, I did boxing. So on the feet, like I'm not, like I'm not worried. It's like it's okay. I know a thing or two, and but then like the thought is always, oh, like what if it goes to the ground? Like what do you do then? So it was kind of like I want to just like work that well-rounded game to the point where I'm like comfortable as a person. Because like no matter what they say, it's like that's gonna give you a crazy confidence boost to know that like if something happens, it's okay.
You're prepared.
Like
You're prepared.
I'm prepared. Nobody wants it, but if it happens,
It happened. Man, it's so good to freaking hear. Cause like once again, like I was trying to like get you to like
I
just try
know,
it
I know,
out
I
back
know.
in the day. It didn't happen. But you know
I
what?
should have.
Everybody
I
has to
should have.
but everybody has to find their own path
Yes,
at
I
the end of the day.
totally agree with you. I totally agree
And
with you.
and I remember I saw the first photo of you and a Henzo Gracie
Yeah.
gi. And I was
Yes.
like, he's training at Henzo's in Jersey?
Yes.
Hold
Yes.
on, let me hit up Zay. Zay, what the hell is going on, brother? Did you just join jiu-jitsu? He says, yo, I am addicted. And it
Yes.
was pure food for my soul.
Yeah.
Because I've been trying to promote for the last many years of doing jiu-jitsu is how crazy jiu-jitsu is for
Yes.
a man. Not it's for everybody, don't get it twisted,
Right.
but
No. No. For
being
sure. Of
in the
course.
perspective of a man, jujitsu is something that you need because it humbles you. Like you could think
Yes.
you're big and
Yes.
bad until
Yes.
you walk into a jujitsu school and listen. You know what? I haven't told this story to anybody on the podcast. I probably never even told you.
Go for it.
My friend, Gold Dust Tugboat, God rest his soul. He goes, "Hey Carlos, I just started this thing called jujitsu. And
Okay.
I think you should give it a shot. Like it's something I've never seen before, I've never heard before, and it's absolutely amazing." So I
Right.
said, "Okay, all right. I guess let me go for a trial." I go into my trial, and I'm 315 pounds,
Mm,
maybe 305. Let's go 305. Nice
sure.
round butterball, 5'7". And we were doing these little drills, and I'm like, okay, this is cool, this is cool. Then it went into rounds, rolling rounds.
Yep. Yep.
And the professor at the time was Master Chim, and he goes, "Hey Carlos, your first opponent is Julie." And I look down to Julie, and it's a yellow belt. She's 14 years old, right? 14 years old, and yellow belt.
Mm,
And she starts sitting, and then I go, "But I've never done this before, what do I do?" So
right.
his exact words were, "Try to kill her. Just don't punch her,
Right.
but
Right.
try to kill her. Grab her throat, like try to kill her." So I said, "Are you serious right now?" And he's like, "Absolutely, try to kill her." So I said, "Okay, all right." So
Fair enough.
I go down to this 14-year-old girl. I'm 24. She's
Right.
14. I'm 300 pounds. So in my head, I'm like, God damn, I feel so bad right now.
Yes. Yes, yes.
We clap and bump. And before we start, I go, I am so sorry. And she goes, it's okay. We slap and bump again, and the round starts, and she
uh
disappears. She was just in front of me, sitting down on the floor. I'm standing up. She disappears. And then by the time I look around, this hand is coming from behind, grabs a rear naked choke, and almost chokes me unconscious.
yes, yes.
And from that day on, I said, if I, that motherfucker, could learn what she knows,
Mm.
I'm going to be unstoppable.
Yes, yes.
And that started the whole journey.
I, I love that. I
So
love that.
it's awesome to find to see, and I consider you a really good friend. I mean, not for
Yes,
nothing,
same, same.
my love of music, I owe it to you also, because I had no talent. I was literally learning from scratch,
We
and
all were. We all were.
you were still good, uh, but not as good as you probably are now.
Right. Right.
And we gave each other a shot, and we
Yes.
developed a good bond, a
We
really
did.
good
No,
bond.
100%. 100%.
We spooned a few times.
That's
That's how
fine.
close we were. It's fine. I don't care.
That's
I
fine.
love you. I don't care. Um,
Same.
and to see one of my friends doing jujitsu, and not only doing jujitsu, but you got into a fucking competition. Tell me about your competition, because it's music to my ears, man. To see someone giving it a shot. It's not everybody's a competitor.
Right, right. No, yeah, I get that. So this is actually my second competition. So my very first one, I had a good friend Justin from Rental Gracie. He signed up to the competition. It was a good fight. So it was.
By the way, just so you know, in Brazilian, in Portuguese, the R's are a H.
Oh, I am totally lost to that. I am not
So
gonna hit it.
so when you say Renzo's, we're thinking
Ah, yes,
Lorenzo from Long
yes.
Island. No, Henzo. Henzo. We got to get the H in, or else the Brazilians are gonna come in our sleep and try to choke us out. That's not my name. Go ahead, continue. Continue. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, so he tells me about this competition, and he gives me all the specs, and then it turns out that it was actually like 2 weeks out, and then by that time I had only been training 3 months. So I was very naive, and I was like, you know what, why not? Why not? Like, what's the worst that can happen? So that me and him sign up, dude. I think it was like 2 fights into it, and then I ended up uh taking gold actually, and the gift fight submission in February. But by that time, my game, I had no game at that point. It's like whatever I thought I had, it's
What
nothing.
white belt
You
has a
know,
game?
right? I mean, but I went, dude, and I think like besides like putting in all that training and stuff, like I won because it was submission only, and like right now my game is like predominantly like defense, because like that's that's what we're learning. So like by points, I just started getting into point systems now, but I won that competition because it was submission only. You know, they were working on me on top of the whole thing, but like I just been working defense for so long, and like that's kind of my thing. So I saw my shot. First one was rear naked submission, and then the second one I won by armbar.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, yo, it
yeah,
feels so good. Zay is hitting
yeah.
arm bars and rear naked chokes.
So I mean that was good fight, and then the one that I did yesterday, it was Ascension Grappling Championships, and it's a amazing company, dude. They're like trying to put these events together, like the best people, dude. They reached out to us at the Studio 1908, invited us over. A few of us went out there to see what's up. compete. They had a lot of good schools over there, man. A couple of good schools there for sure. And that was my first, like, not only point tournament, but it was also my first no gi. Because I am a gi guy, but I kind of
Predominantly
just start.
gi. Yeah.
Yeah, but I got into no gi a few months later, so this was my first shot at a no gi, and then I ended up winning gold in no gi, but then silver in gi, which happens. Gas style, there's just
A win is a win.
a
I
win is a
don't care.
win. It was
A
not doing.
win
It
is
was a great time, bro. Like, everybody there was. There's a lot of love in the community, so everybody there was nice, dude. Everybody who I went up against, they were so friendly. After that, it was a good time, man. I had a lot of fun.
yes,
Wouldn't
please.
would I wouldn't change it.
No, you can't. You can't. And you know what? It feels so good to just hear. Like, I've been in the jiu-jitsu community for a while. I've
Yes.
walked paths with so many different people, but when it's someone who's close to you, like
Right.
my boy is
Right.
doing jiu-jitsu, and he
Right.
found it by himself because it wasn't tutelage from me. I have one
Mhm.
other person other than yourself, that was a personal friend of mine
Right.
who found jujitsu 4 years after I told them about it.
Love that.
And he is competing every
Nice.
tournament, and
Nice.
he's sunken. He's in the water. He's drinking the
It
Kool-Aid.
gets you. It gets you, man.
It in the
It gets
Kool-Aid,
you.
and it feels so good that you get to see what I've been talking about for so
Yes. Yes.
many years. So you know what? For all the viewers who never have done jujitsu or are thinking about doing jujitsu, hey
Right.
Zay,
Right.
what are a few things that you think that someone who's never done it or is soon or just starting to do jujitsu, what do you think is
Mhm.
some tips from a white belt right now
Mhm.
who's starting their jujitsu journey, who compete? You already got 3 medals, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. What can you give some advice to the people who are thinking about trying jujitsu or who are starting just like yourself?
Uh, I would, first, the cliche one, just go. Don't think too much about it. Don't get into your head. Go book the trail class wherever you go. It's always a friendly environment. I personally, I've never had a bad time with it. Yeah, very open. And everybody welcomes you. Everybody communicates really well. Um, for the people who are like just starting out but doing it, and like see themselves doing it long term, I would say it's kind of just like be easy with yourself. Like, you're not gonna get everything. Obviously, it's like, I'm not the one to say this because I'm a white belt, but like, I've had times where like I struggled, or I was like really hard on myself because I couldn't figure something out. To the point where you get in your head, and then it starts messing up your game. So it's kind of just like, like, find out like what's your like strengths and weaknesses, and then kind of just go from there. And like, to just remember that you know you're also a human being with a job on the side, and everything else. So like, so like, take care of your body. Don't be one of those people who just goes balls to the wall, and like, you get an injury and everything. Just like, do things right. Stretch, 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 stretch. Please stretch. Yeah. Do things right, stretch, and just go in with an open mind, and know that you are learning, and also that everyone around you, to an extent, it's also learning. So don't worry about knowing the least in the room. Worry about, look at it from a point that, like, at least you're in that room. There are thousands of people who just never just tried, or like never showed up. And you know I mean, lastly, for the physical, it's good for you mentally. It's been very good to me mentally. It keeps me sane, it keeps me humbled. and it's also a great workout. I am not a kind of person who can just go to the gym and just do the same thing for an hour and like I just can't. I tried it for a really long time and I just wasn't losing weight. It did more harm than good, I think. But man, jujitsu is such a workout, dude. Like yeah, dude. Like some of the drills and stuff. I don't know, man. Some classes you feel it,
I, I just
but
I just came from a 2 hour open mat.
oh,
So
ooh,
2 hours, 5 minute
yeah,
rounds, starting
brutal,
standing because
brutal.
we're all competing on Saturday. So on Saturday I'm competing in
Same, same,
jiu-jitsu
same.
world league. So
That's worlds.
um
Yes, yes,
we're
yes,
we're getting ready and kind of focusing in on the stuff
yes,
to be
yes.
prepared. But I have a question for you. So as a vocalist, it doesn't really manifest for me, but as someone who does music with their mind and their fingers, with their head and eye coordination, with their finger
Mm,
coordination, actually
yep,
playing riffs,
yep.
do you think that it transpires into jiu-jitsu at all? Do you think that it kind of helps you a little bit? Does it help you kind of put things into perspective for you?
Yes, it's essentially like as like tacky as it sound, it's essentially the same learning process, but like the only difference is that I'm doing it physically full body, whereas to if I'm like writing a song or if I'm like learning something, I would you know first learn it, like watch the whole drill and then kind of start breaking it down. So it's like I start with the first 10 notes or something, and then I start breaking it down, and then
That
I
that
move on.
that that
Yeah,
that that
yeah, yeah,
that that that
exactly. So
that
like I'll
that.
start like that. It's the same in like jujitsu. Like oh, like we're doing I don't know, like top control, and then we're going to like an arm triangle or something. Like it's still the same thing. Start here. This is where we're going. This is where we're gonna end up. And playing guitar for that long and like being very aware of of my limitations, that that kind of gives me a little more patience to where I can mentally prepare for, okay, like we're learning this, this is probably going to be like this for a week, like just hour a day, like get to it, don't worry about it, it's going to happen, like trust the process. When you're drilling and when you're practicing, you can everything goes your way. But then, when you get into a competition or something, suddenly these moves aren't working, and then suddenly you gotta, like improvise and then work on the spot. But like that's what I love, because you still know all the key elements to get the move off, or to like make the song sound like the song, but you just took a little detour. And, and I think like that's where the skill lies. It's not about like exactly knowing it. It's kind of like how to, I guess, like implement it in situations where you're not, kind of like a second nature thing. Because now I've drilled like specific moves like so many times that I'll just do it like without even thinking. Sometimes, it's like somebody passes and then I kind of just like go straight into it, and then like start worrying about things later. So it's a good little like chess game that like really has me thinking ahead, dude. And like not only does it like wear me out physical, but it's like such a mental game. It's such a mental game, dude, and it's just like, what is he doing? Where's his hand? Like, where's my lapel? Like, where's my, like he's going for a lapel choke, or like, what's his feet doing? Like, this, all of that. So I'm worried about that, and then I'm worried about what what am I gonna do?
Yo, you're so
Like,
sexy
like
talking
where are
about
we
this
going?
shit. This is
Dude,
so fucking awesome, bro. This is
it is
so
so
awesome.
it is so addicting, dude. Everybody who does it knows.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
dude, it's just such a fun
But
it's
you
a
know
fun
what?
mental game, man.
I'm gonna throw something at you. Actually, a lot of people
Go for
don't
it.
know, even if they started it, because they quit. And they quit because they feel accomplished when it's the journey isn't over yet. You know what I mean? The
Bro, the journey is never gonna be over. It's just never. You just can't learn. No, it's a lifelong thing for sure. For sure, and I think the
it
people
is.
who like get into it, they know that it is.
It's
You
for sure.
know, like it's just too late now. Like I'm just gonna do, like what else am I gonna do? It's
This is
great.
awesome, bro.
Yeah,
This is
dude. There
awesome.
there are there are no drawbacks. I am very happy.
So, quick question: are you still with Core Order, or are you guys still playing music? Or
No. I started it. Me and the drummer, and then I kind of had to like part ways from it because I had like switched into like a different career field, and then I had to go back to school. So it was kind of all over the place. But I mean, dude, we had a lot of fun. Played a bunch of shows, a bunch of tours, a bunch of runs, a bunch of music videos. I got all I do is like I got all that on my system. I am very happy just like making music at home. Like collaborating online.
yo,
It's great.
you gotta throw me some beats, man.
Yes, we do.
Please,
I have stuff. I have stuff. Don't worry.
please, yo,
I have
throw me
stuff.
something, bro. Because listen,
We
I
can
got
definitely work
some.
for sure. For sure.
I got some shit, bro. I got some shit that I need to get off my chest. You know what I'm saying?
I got, bro. Trust me. We're the right people for that. We're
So,
good.
Zay, I created this podcast again in the eyes of a competitor. And I know your
Love that. Love
journey
that.
is like so new, but
Yes.
you already took the leap into competitive jiu-jitsu, and it is
Mhm.
a different world in
It is
itself.
very. It is very different.
So,
Very different.
my question is, I know there's a high and low in jiu-jitsu, and I know you're early in your career, but still, right now, for the people who are actually sitting in your seat right now, they just did
Mhm.
their competition, they won a
Mhm.
few. What is your high in jiu-jitsu right now? In your jiu-jitsu career, what's that one thing that you say, I am so thankful and happy, or I'm just like, what's your main highlight so far in jiu-jitsu?
The definitely the patience that it has like given me. Like I'm definitely more. Like let's take a step back and figure it out. Like let's see how things are going. As opposed to kind of just like being spazzy, I suppose. And then it kind of like just shows in my game a lot because when I started, I'm speaking like I've been doing this for years, but like when I started in January, I wasn't like a spaz, but I was very like just ready to go. As to now, my game is kind of like all right, like I'm gonna see, like relax. There's like 5 minutes is a long time. We have time. Like let's work. And it's good because like that patience is gold, man. Because it just like transcribes like everything you do, whether it's work, like whatever. It's good to have that mental block to just like take a step back and chill. For
Patience.
sure.
I like that. I
For
like
sure.
that. I like
For
that a
sure.
lot. What about your lows? Have you had a low in jiu-jitsu yet?
Yeah. So when I about after the competition, my left shoulder got messed up. But like that happens. And then while I was still in Journal Square, I ended up hurting my ribs and my back. And and I was out, dude, I think it's like 2 or 3 weeks, which like doesn't feel like much, but then like taking that break for especially from like jujitsu, like dude, like I take 4 days off, and when I come back, I'm dying, and I'm so like taking those like 3 weeks off, it kind of got into my head that like when I came back and I wasn't like at that like performance, or like I wasn't performing how I was, I kind of just like, oh, like like why am I doing this? Or like it's like why am I putting my body through this for like a hobby? It's just a bunch of stuff. But then that patience, it was just, dude.
Just when you think you're out, it
It's
pulls you right
exactly,
back in.
exactly. It's that patience. It's like, dude, like it's a small injury. It'll take 2 or 3 weeks. Like, calm down. Just like shut up and like just show up. That's it. Just like shut up and show up. Do your thing. Don't roll. Do the drills, whatever. But show up. And little by little, that game comes, and then you're back to normal. Then you're showing up again, and now you're hitting stuff that you weren't before, and now like, dude, it's a big high, man.
I
It's a
love the look
it's
on
a
your
big
face
high.
because you're
Yeah,
so
and
in
it's such a big
tuned.
high.
You're so in tuned, and it's really good to see. So, yo, you know what? Tell me how you met the Studio 1908. Like, how do you run into that studio? You were at Henzo's.
That
So,
group,
what happened?
yes. So when I was at Hensel, we were my introductory classes. So all the whiteboard classes were being taught by Coach Sule. I don't know his last name. I mean, I know his last name, but I'm not gonna butcher it. So Sule, I'm sorry. It was Suli, and then Suli was training under the Meows, and then he would teach, and his on the side, and for whatever reason, Suli kind of just left, and then left Henzo, but we were like such a knit group, dude. Like everybody in that class were like brothers, bro. Like you know how it is, dude. It's like gym friends are like, it's a different kind of friendship because you're like trying to kill this guy for a few minutes, and then like you guys are going on like hanging out. So Sule left, and then we all just followed. We were like, hey, dude, like where are you going next? And he goes, oh, well, I train on 1908, a few blocks down. That's it. Say less, dude. Like we're all gonna go. So I say, I'm glad that a bunch of us made the move, and yeah, I mean, dude, it's like we all have positive things to say, man. We went to that gym, and Byron and the Meows, dude, like white belts in that school are like no joke. You know what I mean, dude?
It's a different
Like the white
breed,
belts are
baby. They're
no,
a
dude.
different
Like,
breed.
bro, like the white belts are no joke, dude. Like there's some like two stripe dudes who are like their game is insane, but like we're training with the Meow, so like it's very, the classes are hard, everything's hard to do, but it's great. I'm going tomorrow at 7 a.m. Like what?
That's so lit.
I'm going tomorrow at 7 a.m. Like that's it. We're just gonna keep showing up, keep working, and then see where it goes. That's it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. No, and
That's it,
and
man.
and that's and that's super sick, and it's just such a small world because I would have never
Yes.
thought that the Meows would be in Jersey.
Right.
I know. I knew that there was a training spot in Jersey where, like I said, my friend Stingray would be,
Mhm.
and he trains with the Meows because he's also a high level 10 planet black belt,
Right. Right.
and he's always in the mix. He's always
Right.
competing, so it's like it makes sense. And I know Gianni Grippo, he be there, and and he goes to 10th Planet New York City too. Like, listen, like the jiu-jitsu community, that the high level guys are starting to get together to like really train,
Right.
because now if you really look at the jiu-jitsu, regardless if you know or you don't, but a lot of the top guys are now training with each other. You got Craig Jones, you got Hasim Rita going to B team, training with the B team guys, learning from them. They're learning from
Right.
Hasim, and they're getting better. Then you
Right.
got like the Tackets going to B team, or they'll go to New Wave, or you have Renee Souza, 10th Planet Bethlehem, and then he goes to fucking B Team and starts working with them. Like everybody's going to a different school to gain more knowledge on how to fucking win,
Right.
and
I love
and
that.
and
I
it's
love that.
so sick. And I'll tell
Yes.
people who have never done jujitsu, check out multiple schools. Don't sign up
Yes.
to the first school
Yes.
that you try out. It
Yes.
might be the worst mistake of your life. And if
Yes.
they ask you for a contract, don't fucking do it.
Right.
Listen, that's what happened to me at my very first jiu-jitsu gym. I signed a 2-year contract. I signed a
Yeah.
year contract.
Okay.
And then they were like, Carlos, you're doing so good. You should come into the mastery program. And I was like, oh, the mastery program. They were like, yeah, it's more intense training. I think you'll be good. It's called like the warrior program. Get into the warrior program. I was like, oh, you think I could be a warrior? And they were like, yeah, you got it in you. Okay, like what does it entail? Oh, it entails a 2-year agreement, and your monthly goes up to 250. And I was
Oof.
like,
Oof.
but if you think I could be a warrior, then I'm in.
Right.
Dude, fast forward 6 to 7 months later,
Mm.
My brother loses his job at the time, or
Hmm.
there was like a little standstill. So now
Right.
all the rent is on me.
Right. Right.
So I said, hey, like, can we like put a pause or
Right. Right.
whatever? Because at this time, this person I can't. And he said, nope. So I was like, well, I can't pay it. And he was like, well, you're gonna get sued. So I was like, all right, well, if you're gonna sue me for $1,000, then sue me. Whatever. I'm out. I'm never doing it. And that's why I quit jujitsu.
Oh
I quit
man.
jujitsu
Oh,
after
that's
that.
rough.
After that, I quit jujitsu and I was out of jujitsu for 3 years. I didn't touch the mats for 3 years. And then I got to 315 pounds, sitting on my
Right.
ass eating.
Right. Right.
And then I found Tough
Right.
Planet. And then
Right.
his
and
history
it,
was made. History
and
was made.
here we are.
And here we
It is.
are.
It is such a good workout, dude. It is insane, dude. The shape that it puts. If for anything, like do it for, dude. It's just a great workout, man. Like do it to get in shape, dude. It has helped me like tremendously, dude. Like from having that mindset of like it's impossible, I can't lose weight, to how much weight do we have to drop for the next competition? Okay, great, great.
I'm in.
You know what
I'm
I'm
in.
saying? Yeah,
15.
whatever.
Let's go.
Done. Yeah, like and, like this is something that I would not happen like if it wasn't for jujitsu, because I was stuck in the like 215s around, it's like high 215s. So when I started out, I was 215, dude, and like I'm not that tall, but me at 215 is kind of like round. Dude, started at 215, dude. I competed yesterday at 195, but it's like like it's a good 195. Like I'm happy with how I look.
Comfortable. Comfortable. It
Very
was
very
comfortable.
very
It
comfortable,
was
very
comfortable.
comfortable,
It was
and
comfortable.
I feel great. I mean, if anything, like like do jujitsu for the health reasons.
Like,
It's great.
it is. No, no, it is. And not for nothing, since January, that's when I started like a biggest loser competition and lost
Mm.
most of my weight. But
Oh yeah.
I continued it on. And even though the
Oh yeah.
process is a little slower than
Mhm.
what I was at, but it's just because I just knocked out so much weight so fast that my body is like now starting to like catch up into it.
Right.
Um,
Right.
like thinking back on just like how you're doing in your
Mhm.
jujitsu career now, like what. I had this question in my head. Hold on, give me one
All
second
good.
to rethink
No,
it.
no, but it happens to me all the time.
I fucking forgot. Anyway, fuck it. On to the
All
next
good.
one. It might be too early to ask you this question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway because surprises may happen. Do you
Yes.
have a good buddy in jujitsu that you called them out and you paid the price with an L? It could be a training partner, it can be your professor. Have you called
Oh,
anybody out? Yo, I'm gonna beat your ass, jokingly, not serious, jokingly. I'm gonna beat your
yeah,
ass,
yeah.
and they fucked you up.
I mean, I am pretty like I'm pretty used to like taking L's, because because I don't really go in, and and I don't go into like training with like a like winning kind of mindset, but you know friendly matches for sure. There have been people. I'm trying to think of one. Mm, damn. All right. Perfect. I don't know his name, dude, but he's a Meow white belt. I believe two stripe, and I probably seen him twice or so, and very very good guy. We drilled the moves, and as we were drilling, I kind of felt comfortable because at that point, I was already like on my game, kind of felt comfortable. Why not? We stopped drilling. Hey man, do you want to go first? Very hey, let's go first. Sure, brother. That clock started, killed me, dude. Dude, it was like no competition. Like as soon as the clock just started, dude, it was like a different person from like the one I was drilling with. Totally different game. It was intense. And then after that, like he's kind of like the one who, if I see in class, like, yeah, hey, let's pair up, like, let's do this together, because I'm obviously gonna get better with him. But yeah, no, I mean, it happens quite often, dude. I try to, like, roll with my Professor Byron as much as I can, and he's not like a huge guy, but it's just impossible to get to him. So, like, going against that as much as I can, that it's definitely helped me out for sure,
Like
for sure.
just talking, like this whole conversation brought me back like this quote
Mhm.
that a black belt gave me back in the day. And he said, the hardest part of a jiu-jitsu practitioner's day is doing jiu-jitsu. And it makes work and life so
Yes,
much easier
yes,
because you
yes,
accomplished, like you survived in a
yes.
jiu-jitsu room, that you go home and it's like everything else is like it ain't that serious. Like, do you know what I
100%,
did? Like, people don't
100%.
understand the concept of jujitsu. Like, every tap
Yes,
is death.
yes.
It's potential death. If you break somebody's arm, they have
Done,
one less arm to hit you with. If you choke somebody out,
done.
when we tap, we let go. But what
Right,
happens if we don't let go?
right, right,
You're dead. You're gonna lose
right.
blood to your brain. You fall asleep and you never
That's
wake
it.
up. I mean,
That's
that's
it.
it. When we heel
Simple.
hook you, we destroy your fucking
It is
knee
broken.
and
Yes,
you can't walk right. You know what I
yes,
mean? Like, we literally are learning how to take people out.
yes,
And sometimes a lot of people have the misconception that this is karate or this is a taekwondo. No, this sparring happens for hours
yes.
and we are simulating death.
Yeah, it's honestly, I kind of had that issue where, like, I'm explaining to people, who either know nothing about it or know very little, but don't do it, and it's so extreme, man. It is, bro. It is a lot, and you're just, like, always on. Like, it's just nonstop until somebody just gives out. And the gym is fine, but in the real world situation, like, you give out and, like, that's it. No, whatever happens after that happens. So, like, it's intense, man, but it's very addicting.
So now, and this isn't to toot your own horn, or I don't want you to feel like
No,
you're tooting your own horn, but
no,
I want you to really give me a straight answer. Do you
okay,
feel, if you face someone who didn't do jujitsu in the street, do you feel like you would be able to control, maintain position, and or finish the fight from the ground?
yes,
I fucking love
yes,
that. I fucking
yes,
love that. Like,
yes,
it's a superpower that people wish they had and they don't know that they can obtain if they just
yes.
gave it a shot.
No, dude, it makes you're just comfortable all around, man. Like, if the fight goes to the floor, like, I'm happy. Other people see it as the world's biggest disadvantage. I'm on the ground. This guy's over me. Dude, fight goes to the ground. I am a happy guy. I'm comfortable. I can navigate now, and then work. Yeah, no, dude, it is. Yeah, it keeps me very happy, but also keeps me very humble to know that, hey, you never know if this guy does jujitsu. So, kind of, you never know, dude.
Never know.
I've had little small dudes in my class, glasses, are like, they're very humble, very calm. But as soon as those guys get on the mat, dude, like, they are working,
Oh yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
working, dude. I've had we had two kids in my school now. Big shout out to them, Cornell and Alejandro, dude. Like, Cornell, like, just like one pan kid, like, these are kids in the industry, and they're just like 14, 15 year olds. Dude, like, the work they can do to grown men is insane. It's crazy, dude. And you just never know. That's
You
that's
just
the
never
that's
know.
the
No,
gist of
you're
the
right.
story. You just never know. So,
You
very,
just you just
just
never
calm
know.
down, be respectful, and then go about your stuff.
So before I go into my sponsor, so
Yeah,
today, right? One of my teammates and training
hmm,
partners, we're competing on Saturday. His name
nice.
is Micah, and Micah is about 6'2", 260.
Okay,
Big boy, big boy.
right.
and he forgot that we were competing on Saturday. He thought he had an extra week.
Ah,
So, it was like, Carlos, you want to go? I'm like, 100%. Like, well, I'm already preparing for
right,
war.
right,
So I was
yeah,
like, 100%. So he starts sitting, and I was like, no, no, let's start standing. He goes,
right.
we have time. I was like, no, it's this Saturday. He goes, is this Saturday? I was like,
Mm,
it's this Saturday.
mm.
Bro, as soon as we stood up, he hit me with a oh my god, why can't I think of it's completely it completely throw, but like the name of the move completely went out of my head.
There's so many of
But
them. There's so many of them.
the not a throw by, but the pulling. You
To take. Oh,
arm
for the
drag.
back, for the back. Yes, yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes, yes.
So we're standing and we're doing nice collar ties. I'm going in
Mm,
my entrances, I'm playing my
mm.
game, and he arm dragged me so fast and took my back. And like we've been teammates for a while,
Right,
so I know
right,
his game, he knows my game.
right, right.
He's never taken my back so fast. And I was like, man, okay. So then we end up on the floor. So now I'm getting my guard back. He's a
Mm,
heavy guy, so now I'm like, okay, I gotta
right.
do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this, I gotta do
Frames,
that, I gotta do this.
frames.
He submits me, right?
Okay.
And I'm like, man, shit, like this guy is fucking really good. All right, let's go again. So then we
Hmm.
start again. And then, we're having great exchanges. And then at the end, we slap and bump. And I never get down on myself because I know that this man is fucking good. He's really good.
Right,
And I know
right,
that. And I've seen it, I've done it. He's
right.
placed in every single tournament that he's done. Like he's that good.
Sick. Yeah, sick for sure.
So, I wasn't down on myself at all. It was like, it is what it is. And then I go, hey, Micah, like, yo, that was a sick arm drag. And he goes, dog, do you know the fear that I have going for that, like against you? And I was like, against me? And he goes, against you. He goes, you throw shit out of the hat that I don't
Mm,
expect you to do. So everything that I do, I'm like prepared. I'm like
yeah, yeah,
looking
yeah.
left and right because something's coming. Something is gonna
Right,
come. I
right,
just don't know what yet. And I
right.
was surprised that I got you with it. And I was like,
Huge
one,
compliment.
I'm honored. Right, exactly.
Right,
That was
huge
one of the
compliment
biggest
for
compliments. I'm gonna
sure.
turn on the light. Let me turn on the light because it's
No,
starting to
for
get
sure,
dark
for
over here in
sure.
Florida. Hold on.
All good.
My head might be shining now, but it is what so it
It
is
is what it
it
is.
is, it is literally the biggest compliment
Right.
that I can get, because
Mm,
if he's thinking that way, then
right,
whoever's going against me who doesn't know my game
right,
are in for trouble.
right.
And that's what I'm going to try to do on Saturday. That's what I'm gonna try to do on Saturday. So
No,
before we continue and
good
we
luck.
start
Good luck.
wrapping up the podcast, I need to give a huge shout out to the sponsor, Pressure Pass Pressure Washing Services here in the Orlando area. If you're looking for pressure washing in the Orlando area, please give a call to 407-773-1545. Mention this podcast and get 15% off the introductory rate. Thank you, Pressure Pass Pressure Washing. Shout out to Cogito Jiu Jitsu. I appreciate you letting me use your facility and training and teaching at your spot. You guys are awesome. I love every single student. Boom.
Love that. Love that, man.
Back to Jiu Jitsu.
Back
Like
to jiu-jitsu.
so today I had one of our white belts.
Mm,
And like anytime I have an opportunity, I try to give him just a little bit of tutelage after
right,
everything.
right,
and
right.
or and or he'll come to me, yo, I keep getting
Mm,
stuck here, whatever.
right, of
and
course.
and and then he was like, Carlos, thank you so much for just trying to help me. And I was like, bro, to be honest with you, I thank you for even listening to what
Right,
I thank you for
right,
thinking that my jujitsu is good enough
right,
to listen to. You know what I mean?
right.
Like, I'm
For
not,
sure, for
what I
sure.
mean? Like, I'm not a joke, because some people would see me around their guy, 5'6", 5'7",
Right,
and they're like, fat guy in jiu-jitsu, all he has is a Kimura game. You know what I mean? Like, because
Right.
he's just gonna sit on you and do a Kimura. And then I do pull a lot of shit out of the bag.
Right.
And like, for yourself, like,
Mhm.
who is that person for you as your white belt?
I mean, I'm still a white belt, but
Not giving advice, getting advice. Who's your go-to person?
oh, who's my go-to person?
He's like, everybody.
My main go-to person is, like I said, it's Byron Sierra, dude, who's one of the black belts in 1908, dude, who's just, bro. And if I could, like, I don't know, man, like, put his game into words, it's just like, to me, and like what I know so far with jiu-jitsu, like, that's high level. Like, I've seen him roll and do, and he's really, like, just like always, like, steps ahead. Like, his setup game is insane, dude. And also, like, he's just very on the fly, man. Like, I've seen him get put in some bad situations, and when I'm like, oh man, boom, like, and you're like, what happened? But yeah, no, him, dude. He's been fucking amazing to me. When I told him about the competition, dude, he was like, hey, like, write me a bunch of questions and just send them over, and I will try, to kind of like cater the morning class around that. Which is like, who does that? That right there alone was enough for me. So, we had like 2 or 3 classes where it was just on, like, my stuff. And the fact that I, like, went to this competition, dude, and I'm bringing like 2 medals back, 1 gold, for him to, like, see it, it's a big thing, because, like,
He
that's my
molded
guy,
you.
dude.
He's been molding
Yeah,
you. Yeah.
dude, like, 100%. Like, a big part of my game has changed, from doing, like, what I started in the beginning to now, and, like, my game is a little different. I'm doing, moves that I, like, never paid attention to or something, and it's, like, kind of like all because of him. It's like I kind of work, like, my game around, like, what I see him, like, work with, and it's really, like, made my jujitsu, like, so much better, dude. I'm very comfortable. I'm just comfortable, man. Yeah, like, I guess, like, that's like a good place for me personally, like, in jujitsu, where I'm comfortable to where, like, a random can just come up to me, do you want to roll? And I'm like, of course, like, let's go, let's see what happens. There's not a lot of fear. There's just that
Be
interest in,
comfortable with the
yeah,
uncomfortable.
yes, yes, that's, and I'm experiencing that. So I mean, I can't, like, speak enough for him, and like, everything he's done for me. So I'm very excited to see him tomorrow at the 7 a.m. class after bringing these 2 medals home.
They This
Yes,
has been a freaking conversation
yes, it
that
has.
brings joy to my
Yes.
heart. Sincerely.
No, same, dude.
And
Same,
I
same.
and thank you so much for giving me your
No,
time.
thank you. No,
Other
bro, please.
than writing some music for me or giving me some music so I can
I
actually
got you.
put down,
I got you.
what competitions do you have coming up? What's your goals for the rest of the year? You got 4 months, 4 or 5 months left.
So I am competing in the PBJJF on Saturday, on the 16th. That's gonna be in Atlantic City, and that's gonna be my second no gi competition and my third gi. Um, that's for September. I think after that I'm gonna close it out, and then I have one in October, and then, you know what? And then I think in December we have Good Fight Worlds, which I, kind of got to, like, look up on that. So, because I won gold in February, automatically qualified. So now I think Worlds is in, like, Pennsylvania, like, somewhere deep, but,
Oh,
it's
that's
gonna be,
lit. That's lit.
yeah, yeah. So it's gonna be submission only Worlds tournament. So, like, I'm already prepared for the, no point, no bullshit, kind of just go in there and, like, get what you gotta get. So Yeah, I mean, now having done both type of competitions, I do have a preference. I guess I like sub only a tiny bit better because then it just kind of just works for me. I'm not kind of like working on my game and then hearing somebody say, "Hey, you're down by 2 points. You got a minute left." Like that just it kind of throws me off. So I am definitely the most excited for the Worlds in December. For the
Okay.
sub only. I am definitely more excited than that. And then after that, that's the year because I
That's the
think
year.
Worlds is
That's the
on.
year.
Yeah, it's on like I don't know, like early December. So after that, I'm probably just keep training and then see whatever comes up next year. January is I'm gonna hit a year, and and then we just keep going. I don't know, book the calendar till next January or something.
Brother, it's been an
And
absolute
yes,
pleasure.
it
Thank you
has.
so much for giving me your
Well,
time.
no, thank you. Please.
Anything you want to shout out?
I mean, my entire like academy, dude, like Studio 1908, known in a lot of places, and kind of just shout out to everybody there, man. Like special shout out to Byron, of course. That's it, man. Like the whole community, man. It's a
Shout out
great
to
day.
your wife for pushing you to do
Yeah.
jujitsu.
Most importantly, shout out to my wife for
And tell
for
her
putting
I
it to
said
me.
hello and
I
send my
I will
love.
tell her you say hello, bro. hundred
And
percent.
tell her Assalamualaikum.
Yes, we're all gonna catch up when you come over. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm
It'll be a
going
great
down
time.
in December. So I will be
It'll be a great
training
time.
at 1908,
Yes, you will.
getting
Yes,
some
you will.
rounds in. And it is an absolute pleasure. Zay, thank you so much for the
Of
for
course.
the opportunity to get to talk and catch up. It feels
Of
it
course.
feels
No, of
really good
course.
to see my friends doing jujitsu, and
Thank
it
you.
wasn't from my mouth. Uh,
Yeah,
uh, thank you everyone for joining us on episode 10 of the Grindin Jiu Jitsu podcast. Today was Zay Gomez out of 1908, Studio 1908 with the Meow Brothers,
yes, sir.
white belt, good friend, guitarist. If you have an opportunity, like, comment, subscribe, share, and tell a friend so they can tell a friend, and then maybe we can be friends. Maybe
That's
we could
right.
do this all night. I appreciate everybody for listening in and keep doing jujitsu.
Keep doing
Oh,
jujitsu.
stay on, Zay.
Got you, baby. Insane.